Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. It's Wednesday morning here in Norway, and I'm Emma Rowena. I'm a musician, a performer, but I'm also an intuitive reader and healer. And I've been working with clients and with myself for many years. And I'm now doing this series where I talk about different topics every week. Mondays, I share my reflections and I invite you to bring those reflections or your own reflections into your life on that topic. And on Wednesdays, today, I help you, I guide you, I share with you some tools and exercises that you can try in order to heal or move forward in that area of your life that we're talking about. This week, it's relationships. So, and as I said on Monday, relationships, hello Elizabeth, relationships is a big topic because we have so many relationships in our lives and they're all different, both according to what the relation is, whether it's a family member, a friend, a romantic partner, colleague, but also because every individual is a different person, and so the relationship will naturally be accordingly different for every person that you have in your life. But there are some things that we can look at that is a common denominator for all the relationships, and that's ourselves. So I keep coming back to this. You are the main source of your life. You are you hold the main role, the main part in the film of your life, and you can actually you can take the lead. It means, of course, doing the work, but when you take the lead, powerful things happen. So, what can you do in relation to other people? How can you take the lead in your relationships? And I want to stop right there, because taking the lead in a relationship isn't necessarily what the relationship wants. In the sense that you are the dominant one in the relationship. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking the lead in the way you relate to every person in your life. And the common denominator here is your patterns, your way of being yourself in relation to other people. Now, this can also shift according to who you relate to. I have some friends, this has actually shifted now, but I used to not manage to be myself completely. I used to feel I had to prove myself with some friends, and then some friends I could just relax and be myself. And it took a while. It took until I started embracing myself and listening to myself and acknowledging and respecting that my emotions and my experience has value, not only the other person. It took understanding that before I could start to relax also with the people that I used to not relax with or not manage to portray my true colors to. And most of those relationships have flourished in that. Some have fallen away. Is there grief with that? Yeah, in some instances, but it's how it is. If they can't take me for who I am, then I'm not going to spend my whole life trying to convince that person that I'm worthy of being me. I had enough convincing myself, and I know I am convinced that whatever I have to offer is more than enough. And when that happens, also, of course, any relationship, including the families and romantic relationships, will shift. Depending on the other person, whether the other person is receptive to the shift, or whether the other person finds it threatening or that it doesn't match them, that sort of governs how the relationship will develop. Now, if you start stepping out of your shadow and starting to shine your light and to show your colors and to be yourself and to let your personality come through and to let your dreams come through, and whatever it is, and my dog, that dog is here trying to play again, she's a puppy. If that person is not able to receive that, then maybe that person is not the right one for you. And this is sometimes really hard to accept. And it can be really hard to understand. It can be hard to let go of those people if you care for them. Obviously, we care for people, and letting go of somebody we care for, even if it maybe because of having to do so when you start being yourself, can be very painful, of course. But it does. It's part of your journey, and sometimes we have to stand firmly in that pain in order to rise and be the full, beautiful person that we can be. So that's a little bit of the, what should I say, the little serious or the frightening part of dealing with your own patterns in relationships and trying to shift them. The beautiful part and the really powerful and good part is that when you do so, your relationships become deeper, more respectful, both ways, more compassionate and loving and freer. And again, this goes if the other person is ready to receive you for what you're starting to show up as. And what's more, this might inspire and open up to the other person starting to make that same shift, to take that same journey in themselves. They don't even maybe know why or what's happening, but I've seen this, that the people that I managed to start to show my colors and just relax with, that I used to be frightened of, they've started to come to me in a softer way. I'm thinking particularly of one person really, but it can happen in different ways, but this is an example. And I see more of that person's truth. They're sharing her emotions with me more, being more vulnerable with me. She's daring to do that because, I'm guessing, but this is what I see when I work with other people. When you become more authentic, it's easier to understand who you are. You become clearer, your boundaries are clearer. And when you start feeling more secure in yourself, you're also someone it's safer to come to with your vulnerability. So if somebody has been a little bit afraid of sharing things with you, maybe when you start feeling safe and comfortable and happy in yourself, it's naturally, not forced, but through this journey, through working with yourself, then it'll be easier for the other person to open up and to lean against you when that's needed, as long as you keep your boundaries, of course. This is exploring your boundaries, thinking about how far do you let a person in, how much do people invade you. That's one issue. And we'll look at we're going to look at the energetic boundary that you can use and have with you in order to keep your space and send out the signal of where your boundaries are, and also so that it's easier for you to say no without anger. Just simply, I'm sorry, I need my own time now. I'm with you, I'll be back when I'm ready. That sort of thing. So when you become more authentic and real in yourself, you also have more life, energy and force. So you can share more of yourself, you can share more of your life force with other people. And that might trigger other people, it might trigger people in a negative way because maybe they're not in a different place, maybe they feel overwhelmed. But the people that you really want to have in your life are those that take part in that life force. Those are the beautiful relationships that it's worth to nourish. And I'm not saying that it's always going to be hunky-dory or always going to be happy, but I'm saying that there's a different dynamic when this happens. And you can support each other. I have one friend, we've been through breakups at the similar times, and we've sort of walked and talked and a lot. And I see how when one person starts to shift or rise beyond a threshold, then that actually helps the other person. It works both ways, to take her shift and to look at her issues in that same area of life, if you like. And even though so that it means that you can also safely go to that person and say, today is terrible, I'm feeling horrible. And the other person will meet you, because this happens both ways. So again, who are you? Who are you in relation to other people? Who are you in relation to yourself and in relation to other people? Now, what we also sometimes do, we are not immune to being tied up to other people. And what I energetically see this as is a kind of a cord. When you have anger, frustration, conflicts, old stories that haven't been resolved, fear in relation to some neediness, all these things, they create, I was going to use a Norwegian word there, they form these cords between us, and it gets stuck in our bodies. We attach, and I can see somebody maybe attached to a person's whole spine, and which indicates to me that there's some form of control there. Maybe there's somebody attached to your head trying to tell you how to think. Maybe there's somebody attached to your solar plexus, where there's a lot of fear, or it has to do with your identity often. Maybe to your root, there are all kinds of, or just your knees for moving forward, your feet. People can be attached to the field around you. So I'm going to share an exercise with you right now. First, we repeat the one we did on Monday, which is a beautiful energy exercise. It's a visualization. And if you're not used to visualizing, using images, just pretend that you are. Play that you are a psychic, if you like kids do. Go into the play. Or imagine, or you can just know or hear or sense, whichever way works for you, but I use images a lot. So imagine that you can see 2 or 3 of your friends, we'll do the friends group now, in front of you. You can close your eyes, it's probably easier. Imagine that you have a vision or a feeling or a sense of these 3 people, 2 or 3 people, and see if you can sense that one of them is a bit closer to you, maybe one of them has more color, more light to them. Maybe one of them or 2 of them or whoever are more in the shade, less distinct. See if you can just observe. And then the next thing you can try is to try and sense that person, these people. Sense one of them. Choose one and sense the feeling that you have in relation. And I'm not really necessarily saying if you're feeling angry or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to get to in this instance, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to get to the sense of their energy, their essence. What do they feel like? What does this person feel like? And then shift your focus to another one, one of the other ones. What does that person feel like? Is it different? It's very, very subtle. It's beautiful when you start to manage to tune into it. And if you can't manage it now, don't worry. Just practice and go with it, and it'll come. It's our nature. This is actually what we all can do. So I'm giving you a lesson in spirituality here, if you like, or psychicness, in seeing. See if you have a third person. See if you can sense that third person. What does that person feel like? And see if any of them move, if they shift positions as you give them attention. Maybe they come more out in the light. Maybe one of them hides in the shadow. All kinds of things that can happen. Just notice, observe, whatever you can observe. You don't need to sense all this information. I'm just giving you some cues. Whatever you feel and sense. And if you feel frustration because you can't sense it, see if you can let that flow through you and pretend again. Go back to pretending that you can see or know. Okay. Now I'd like you to choose one of these people. And imagine, and thank the others sort of for showing up here energetically, and invite the other one, the one you choose, to show up in front of you. Now, sometimes that actually doesn't feel right. Maybe that person wants to show up somewhere else around you. So let that person place, that energy place, or that image place itself wherever it feels natural to you. Now, see if you can sense in your body that there's an attachment to this person somehow, somewhere. Just the first thing that comes to you, the first point of your body, the first part of your body. And then don't give it too much consideration or thought or analysis. Just go with it. Maybe there are more places. Maybe you feel that this person is everywhere. Maybe it's just one point. Maybe it's in your heart. And if it's in your heart, sense if there's any disturbance to it. Maybe it's a little tight. Maybe it's a little, it feels like somebody has a little tight, like a bit strained. Then see if you can imagine that you can cut this cord or these cords. And again, if you can't see it, if you can't feel it, just pretend that you can. Just go with it. Whatever comes to you, wherever spot of your body that you have focus on, that's fine. That's probably where you're attached to this person. Imagine that you can use scissors or you can burn, whatever, cut this cord, this discord, because these cords are discords, and I'll explain that in a minute. Imagine that you can cut them, release them, let them go. And that you can imagine or feel or sense that this is being dissolved out into the thin air. Yeah, and just pretend. And if there are more places, or if this is frustrating, don't worry, just try it. But if you can do it, it's amazing. It takes some practice usually. Now, these discords are usually attachments that do not have a free flow because of something. Now, we have patterns between each other. Some people influence you in some areas of life, positively or negatively, but these discords are often where they are attached in not such a positive way, not an uplifting, not a free flow of love. The one free flow that is beautiful to keep, this is why I wanted you to sense if you felt it in your heart, the one free flow should be from your heart to their heart. If this is a relation, this is a person that you truly care for, that would be the ideal, that would be the longing that the two of you have. Whether it's a romantic relationship, a parent-child relationship, family, friend, whatever it is, colleague, even past ones. And that's a different topic, so I won't do that now. But if you imagine now that this person, and if there's any sense of discord or sense of tension or sense of this person being somehow attached to you anywhere still, or too close to you maybe, or pulling away, then to just set the intention that all these discords, all these ties be dissolved, be cut, be burnt and released. And when you do that, bring your attention, when you've done so, let's see, give it a little bit of focus, but do it quickly, because when you do it quickly, it's playful. And try not to give it too much thought, because then you start confusing the free energy of it, the healing, the powerful energy. It becomes confused with your mind. Your mind tends to bring the energy down. So imagine now that you can sense your heart. Bring your attention to your heart center. Imagine that you're sort of dropping, you're centering, you're pulling yourself into your heart. We'll do the breathing in a minute for this as well. And then you imagine that you can sense the other person's heart still in front of you, or wherever it's placed in front of you. It might have shifted place now that we've released some cords. And imagine that you invite an open flow of pure love. Now, some people find this frightening because we're used to protecting and closing off our hearts. This is also part of the personal, deeper inner self-love work. When you connect to your heart, excuse me, you start to feel how strong it is. It is unbreakable because it's your essence. It's who you are. You cannot be broken in your essence. and your heart holds your essence. And in this essence is that pure unconditional love, the one that connects us in the free-flowing way, the one that carries the cliche, if you love someone, set them free. Which is, and there's a lot of energy going on here. I don't know if you can feel this. I can, and my whole body is vibrating. You're doing some great work, guys. Okay, so imagine now that you're inviting that person to open up and connect to your heart as you open up to yours. Now you can do it as long as you want, and if it's only a flash, that's enough. Then you've started opening it up. But sending that out, that invitation, inviting that person to dare to open up to their unconditional center, love center. And then once you've tried this, if you can get a sense of the beauty, of the power of this, then you've tapped into one of the most profound experiences in life. If you can't do it yet, do not worry, because some people spend a lot of time trying to get this. And this is what we're hungering for. This is what we're striving to feel. This is why we're trying all these crazy things that we're doing, from drugs to getting involved with people who are hurting us, because we do not know how to connect in this open way. And we allow all these disturbances, all these patterns, all these discords to inform us, misinform us of who we are, who that person is, and what this relation can be. If the other person now that we've done this work, because you have actually done it, even if you cannot see it or know it, because you're in this moment, and even if you see this later, it will affect you, because your subconscious will connect to this, your soul, if you like. Now, this might affect the other person, it probably will, and it can work in 2 or 3 ways. Either that person will try and connect to you again in the old way, because that's what they're used to, that's what your relation is used to. It's used to feel in a certain way. When you start to cut all these cords and let them go, things will shift, and it feels different, and it feels strange. And to some people, this is really frightening. Some people will feel relieved and suddenly feel this burst of, wow, oh, thinking of you with a beautiful way or something, with a beautiful thought, or just a gulp of some sense of love that they don't understand. It's fine. Maybe you'll get a phone call. Maybe things will continue for a little while until you get a hang of it, or until they catch on. Maybe this is too frightening for them and not ready for it now. Maybe they will step back, and maybe they'll come back again when they're ready. You don't know. It is a risk you might have to take. But this beautiful flow of unconditional love from your heart, once you start clearing the layers and cutting those cords, those old patterns and old stories that you carry, it's all in the past. You don't need to carry them. You don't need to blame each other for the past. We don't need to project our own emotions, because as long as you start, as I mentioned earlier, both last week and on Monday, I think, when you start acknowledging your own emotions, acknowledging your own patterns, acknowledging maybe that you're angry with somebody, and let it be expressed, but to yourself, acknowledge for yourself, yes, I'm angry with this person. Wow, why am I so angry? Okay, I didn't like that. And then work through it, let it flow through here and now, and then you can work on cutting those cords and inviting an open flow, so that your relationship can continue in a different hue, in a different manner. That's the transformation. That's the beauty of it. And I do invite you to try it. It can be really hard to do on your own in the beginning, until you manage. But you can watch this again, or you can give me a call and I'll help you. We can work together if you like. I do give teachings and readings, or you can find someone else, or you can share it with a friend and practice on each other. Just try it. It's so worth it. And it will make this world a better place for you, for your friends, for your family, for your relations, and then ultimately in the greater, like concentric circles, in the greater world. It's peace work. Doing this relationship work is deep, deep peace work. That's where it's in the relations that conflicts arise. That's where war starts. And that's where peace can start. So, yes, as the Dalai Lama said, world peace starts with inner peace or inner work, but it also starts with the relationship work. So, this was my little offering to the peace work that we need to do in our world. I'd like you now to meditate, yes, it is a meditation, but you don't have to do it on your own. I do invite you to meditate in your life if you can bring it in somehow. Watch YouTube videos if you can't do it on your own, whatever, because it's it's a beautiful gift to yourself, and it does help you to center yourself, and it does help your journey, your healing, and your connecting to who you are and stepping out as your authentic self. But what I meant now is that we're going to do a little exercise. It is a quick meditation, something you can do anywhere. This has to do with the relations. It has to do with clearing your space when you have, because we do carry information from other people, we carry feelings from other people, we carry energies from other people with us, as long as we haven't learned how to let it go and come back to our own space. So that's the other piece of work, and we're going to do it now. Another tool exercise that you can do. So if you want to, with your eyes open or closed, easier when they're closed, but you can do it with your eyes open. Take a deep breath, and we've done this before, but take a deep breath and imagine that you're just pulling yourself together into your center, centering yourself, pulling all your energy into the center of your being, center of your heart. And as you breathe out, feel how this can be anchored down into your hips and down through to your feet. Just imagine it, go with it. Allow your whole energy, your whole being to be centered, to be grounded. Then you can imagine, and this might be a little easier with your eyes closed, imagine that you're sending a heartbeat or a spark from your heart up to the center of the universe. Imagine that you know where the center of the universe is. You do. Deep inside you do. Imagine that you can go there. Just bring your attention, send this spark, this heartbeat up to the center of the universe, and invite in whatever light or energy that can come down to you. It's a connection. So you're connecting to source, allowing yourself to be connected. And then imagine that this energy is brought down through your head, down through past your eyes, your third eye, your eyes, your ears, through your throat, down through your heart. Imagine that you can bring this energy further down through your solar plexus, your tummy, your hips, down through your legs, down through your feet into the ground, down into the center of the earth, way down into the center, the energy, the source of Mother Earth. Beautiful mother-like energy. And imagine that you invite up her healing, her strength up to you. So she's sending a beam of whatever energy or light up through to your feet, your legs, through your hips, just go with it, your tummy up through to your heart. And now you can imagine that you're centered in your heart. Imagine this expanding, this center, this energy, all this energy that's met in your heart now, your own, that from above and from below, like a sunshine expanding 360 degrees from your heart center out through your body, through your entire body, filling your body, expanding beyond your body. Imagine, just go with it, Imagine that you can just let it out so that you expand your whole energy field, your whole magnetic field is now being activated and expanded beyond your body, like an arm's length around your body, all sides, front, back, right, left, above and below. And then, this is the exercise. Imagine that you have a big magnet outside this field, and that this magnet can pull out every particle in your field or energy that isn't yours, and ask it to be sent to whoever it belongs to. And then you can imagine that this same magnet pulls in any of your energy or particles that are still floating out around there with other people or in different spaces, and bring it back into you, filling up your whole energy field. And you don't have to understand it, just pretend and go with it, because I can see it's happening. There you go. There you go. We call that to separate your energies. And then you can stand in your own space. And I wish you a beautiful day holding yourself with this space of yours, this cleansed, purified space, with the open channel of love, unconditional love from your heart to your relations, inviting them to meet you in that flow. Take care. Many blessings. Bye-bye.